10 war heroes who defied death. Have you ever wondered what it takes to face death and come out the other side? To risk it all and do something so brave that even history can't forget? Today, we're diving into the stories of 10 real-life war heroes who did exactly that. These people stared death right in the eyes, and you won't believe what they did next. From saving hundreds of lives to outsmarting enemy forces, these heroes have tales that will make you gasp, maybe even make you wonder how anyone could have that much courage. And by the end, you might even find yourself asking, what would you do in their shoes? So hit that like button, stay tuned, and let's get into some stories that will blow your mind. Ready? Here we go. First, picture this. It's 1940 and a British soldier named Jack Churchill, yeah, Churchill, but no relation to Winston, is fighting the Nazis. But he's not carrying a gun. Nope. Mad Jack Churchill, as he was called, fought with a longbow and a Scottish broadsword. You heard that right. In a time when everyone else was armed to the teeth with guns and grenades, Mad Jack went into battle with a bow, arrows, and a huge sword strapped to his belt. People thought he was nuts, but Jack didn't care. He once said, "Any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed." Imagine that, walking into a gunfight with nothing but a sword and a smile. One time, Jack even led a charge, bagpipes playing, sword in hand, and captured 42 German soldiers. And he did it without firing a single shot. Sadly, he was eventually captured, but not even a prison camp could hold him. Jack escaped, then got recaptured, and then escaped again. It's like something out of a movie, right? But he's not alone. If you think that's daring, wait till you hear about Simó Häyhä. This guy was a Finnish farmer turned sniper in World War II, and his story will give you chills. Known as the White Death, Simo wore all-white camo, hid in the snow, and became one of the deadliest snipers ever. In just 3 months, he took out over 500 Soviet soldiers, sometimes lying in freezing temperatures for hours, just waiting. When the Soviets heard about him, they sent their best snipers to hunt him down, but no one could get him. Until one day, he was shot in the face. Now you'd think that would be the end of his story, right? Wrong. Simo survived and lived on for years, becoming a legend not only in Finland but around the world. Now, if you're wondering what someone could do with just sheer guts, meet Desmond Doss, an American who refused to carry a weapon. Desmond was a medic in World War II, and even though he didn't believe in killing, he believed in saving lives. During the Battle of Okinawa, Desmond faced enemy fire to rescue his fellow soldiers. He'd dodge bullets, run into explosions, and somehow carry wounded men back to safety. The craziest part? He did this again and again, saving around 75 men all by himself. Imagine, with no weapon, no armor, just raw courage. By the end of that battle, he was so badly hurt that he had to be carried out on a stretcher himself. Desmond's story was so amazing that it was even made into a movie, Hacksaw Ridge. Now let's take a detour to France, where Audie Murphy, one of the most decorated American soldiers of all time, was just about to make history. This guy was small and young. Too young to join the military, actually. He had to lie about his age just to enlist. But it didn't matter, because when he hit the battlefield, Murphy became an unstoppable force. Once, when his entire unit was being attacked by German forces, Murphy climbed onto a burning tank and single-handedly held off an entire company of soldiers. He was wounded and running out of ammo, but he kept going until reinforcements arrived. And that wasn't even his last heroic act. Murphy's courage earned him every U.S. military combat award possible, plus medals from France and Belgium. Speaking of gutsy moves, let's talk about Yogendra Singh Yadav. During the Kargil War between India and Pakistan, Yadav, an Indian soldier, volunteered to lead his unit up a steep mountain to capture enemy bunkers. Climbing that high with heavy equipment was already brutal, but Yadav kept going even after getting hit by multiple bullets. He reached the bunkers, threw grenades, and cleared out the area so his unit could advance. His bravery turned the tide of the battle, and Yadav was awarded India's highest military honor. Now think you've heard it all? Let's go back in time to World War I and meet Alvin York, an American who started out not wanting to fight at all. He was a pacifist, someone who didn't believe in war. But when he got drafted, York went in and ended up becoming a hero. In one battle, his squad was outnumbered and the enemy was closing in fast. York managed to take out 25 enemy soldiers by himself and even captured 132 others. Can you imagine? One man taking on that many people and winning. His actions saved his entire squad, and his story made him a national hero. And then there's Lachhiman Gurung, a soldier from Nepal who fought for the British in World War II. One night, Gurung and his comrades were ambushed, and he was the only one left standing. When grenades were thrown at him, he didn't duck or run. He picked them up and threw them back. One exploded in his hand, but that didn't stop him. Even injured, he kept fighting, holding his position all night until help arrived. Talk about determination. While we're on incredible rescues, here's a story from Vietnam. Roy Benavidez was a U.S. Army soldier who heard a distress call from a helicopter under attack. With no hesitation, Roy jumped in another chopper, armed himself, and jumped right into the line of fire. He was shot multiple times, but he kept going, rescuing at least 8 men and fighting off enemies until he and the others were safe. When they counted later, he had over 30 injuries. Yet he survived to tell his story, and his bravery earned him the Medal of Honor. Then, we have Lyudmila Pavlichenko, a Soviet sniper during World War II who took out over 300 enemy soldiers. Pavlichenko was so feared that the Nazis even tried to bribe her over a loudspeaker, offering her sweets and a safe retreat if she surrendered. She laughed, ignored them, and kept on fighting. Her bravery made her a Soviet hero, and she even traveled to the U.S. to promote the Allied cause. Last but not least, there's Omar Mukhtar, a leader from Libya who resisted Italian forces for years. Known as the Lion of the Desert, Mukhtar was skilled in guerrilla warfare, using the desert's vastness to his advantage. Italian forces tried everything to capture him, but he always seemed one step ahead. He was eventually captured, but even then, he remained calm and dignified, inspiring his people to continue their fight. His story became legendary, especially in North Africa. And there you have it. 10 heroes, 10 tales of bravery that went beyond anything we can imagine. From fighting without weapons to facing impossible odds, these people defied death in ways that still make us shake our heads in amazement. So if you were inspired by these stories, hit subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and let us know in the comments. Which of these heroes would you want by your side in a tough situation? Thank you for joining us, and remember, the past is full of lessons and courage that lives on.